Hello and welcome to another episode of Crizzy Books. I'm Crizzy, or Criz, but only my homeboys call me Criz. And today I'm going to be doing a review for How Much of These Hills is Gold by Pam Zhang. Published in 2020, this is about 288 pages long, so not a super long read. I like Western's partner, but it can be hard to find a Western that, really scratches my itch for what I want to read. I'm not really interested in reading serialized versions of Westerns. I know there's like a million of those out there, but I'm not going to do that. I want something with a little more grit to it, more serious, a little deeper. I saw this one on a list of great contemporary Westerns, and it sounded really interesting, so let's see. In this book, we follow Lucy. She's an American-born Chinese girl, I believe. Her mother and father, Ma and Ba, work in a coal mine shanty town in the Old West. This story starts off with Ba dying. Lucy and her sibling Sam are trying to bury Ba, and in order to do that, they need $2 silver to put over his eyes. They go to a bank to try and get the bank to loan them the $2 silver. The bank refuses. Sam shoots at the bank teller. Doesn't kill him, misses, but they steal $2 silver from him, then steal a horse and flee town. Sam eventually comes back and gets Ba's body, and they roam the West for a while trying to find the right spot to bury Ba. Once Ba is buried, they hang around for a little while trying to figure out, what to do next, what's going to be their home, what are they going to do with their lives. And eventually Lucy and Sam part ways. And the story kind of goes from there. I liked this. I thought that this was really good. The way that Zhang writes is so unique. It's really beautiful, but it also is written in a way that is so fitting for the time period and this story. And I don't really know how to describe it other than just you would have to read it to really understand. It was a little jarring at first, but I got used to it pretty quickly and I ended up loving it. I think it was perfect. Perfect. The next book that I started reading was written normally, and I was kind of like, wait, oh God, like, this isn't right. Like, this sounds dumb is almost how it felt. So I love that. Overall, just as a story itself, I think that it's really great, and it has great themes about home and identity and survival. So let's get to what did I like and what did I not like. So what did I like? I'd call this story a slow burn, which I do tend to gravitate towards. I like things that build up to something that pays off. It really does take its time at certain parts and fleshes things out before a bigger circumstance happens. And I think that it has a really good way of pulling you in and then kind of letting you drift out a little bit, and then it pulls you back in again. It does a really good job of that. I think it flowed really well. I think the characters in this are all really well fleshed out. I cared about all of the four main ones. I think they were all great, and you really do understand each of them by the end of this story. I think that Zhang did a great job of bringing a lot of empathy to each one of these characters to give you, more insight into them and why they are the way they are and why they do the things that they do. I think that my favorite one, maybe not my favorite character, but at least in terms of the book and who I think had the best arc, Ba starts this story off as this more abusive, drunk, gambling kind of loser. You really don't like him, and I don't think you're supposed to. But later in the story, we get an entire part of this book is dedicated to Ba talking to Lucy after he's dead. And we get backstory on Ba and where Ba comes from and how he met Ma. And it gives you that insight into Ba that you didn't have before that helps you to really understand him, and it humanizes him more. And it makes so much more sense why he is the way that he is. It makes you feel for him more. He really is pretty tragic. I think that this book does a great job of describing the brutality and harshness of the Old West. I think that a lot of media tends to glorify it and make it seem like it's some Hollywood movie. This landscape would chew you up and spit you out in a matter of minutes. It was not nice. It's not clean. It's gross and dirty and full of people who are gross and dirty. Trusting anybody at this time period must have been impossible. One of the parts that really stuck out to me was really pretty early on when they're trotting around with Ba's corpse in a trunk on the horse, and how he's covered in maggots and just rotting, and individual body parts start falling off of him, and Lucy keeps finding them in the dirt. So gross. A big part of this that I really liked has to deal with Sam's gender identity. At the beginning of the book, we're led to believe that Sam is Lucy's brother, but Sam is actually Lucy's sister. Sam has taken on this role of the brother and of more of a masculine role because her father wanted a son and never got one. And she changes her appearance, to look more masculine, even stuffs her crotch with a carrot or a rock. And I just found this to be really interesting. This is not something I've ever read or seen when dealing with this time period in this setting. And you know that it happened, and it must have been incredibly difficult to have to deal with something like that internally. Identity really is a lot of what this book is about. Lucy and her identity, Ma, Ba, Sam, and how Sam and Ba are kind of the same, tough and capable, but also incredibly impulsive and making bad decisions a lot. Ma and Lucy are more independent, are more willing to forge their own path and go out on their own and use what they have to their advantage. By the end of this story, I started to really feel like maybe this family was cursed, or karma is just coming back around and biting them every single time, which would make sense. Ma and Ba do some pretty bad things, towards the middle of the book. You find out it does feel like, every time there's a light at the end of the tunnel, something happens and just brings it all crashing down. So what did I not like? Not really anything. Minor gripes. There are several points in this story where I feel like maybe it's a little too ambiguous. It can be a little jarring or confusing. There was a lot of times where I was kind of like, wait, what's going on? Are they talking about what I think they're talking about, or what are they talking about? That happened a few times. I don't think it really takes away from the story as a whole. It happened frequently. And then with the slow burn, sometimes it does carry just a little too long before it gets to the good part. It doesn't happen very often, but it does do that. But that's really it. Other than that, I thought this was really solid. I think that overall, really good story, really cool, different perspectives, great characterization, awesome themes, doesn't pull any punches, and shines a light on a lot of things that I just don't think get attention. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Very solid 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good. Just a nice, fresh perspective of the Old West. What did you think? Have you read this? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Sound off in the comments below. Leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye.